Welcome to Transatlantic Talks, a mostly podcast exploring the relationship between Portugal and the United States. This series is brought to you by ECHO in partnership with AmCham Portugal as the organization celebrates its 75th anniversary. This year also marks the 250th anniversary of the independence of the United States, making the perfect moment to launch this conversation. We're honored to have with us two distinguished guests, John J. Arrigo, the U.S. Ambassador to Portugal, who will share this first-hand perspective on the economic ties between our two countries, and António Martins da Costa, President of the AmCham Portugal and a former executive board member of one of the largest Portuguese companies operating in the United States. Ambassador Arrigo, as U.S. Ambassador to Portugal, what are the main priorities when it comes to the relationships between the two countries?
Well, thank you very much, André, for being here. Antonio, thank you very much for allowing me to sit here at this table with you and discuss some very important subjects. So right now, I think one of our first priorities is to continue this robust relationship that we have with Portugal. It's been a wonderful run. We are in the EU. We're the largest trading partner with Portugal. Outside the EU rather, and our direct investment has been quadrupling over the last year. It's up 70% in the last 7 years to about $16.5 billion. So our partnerships are very, very, very strong. Even though some of the newspapers and the news are saying differently. I mean, if you think about it, if you listen to the newspapers, our relationship is about the same as maybe neighbors getting together for a garage sale. It's a little bit better than that. We are really we're really doing well with each other, and I'm just here to continue to enhance that relationship going further for the next 3.5 years, and I just want to see it grow.
Mm-hmm. You come from a background as an entrepreneur and a business leader. How does that experience will shape your approach to diplomacy?
Well, in my business in the automobile industry, it's relationships. Right. I mean, we needed to have relationships with our community, with our leaders, and with our customers. And I believe that is bringing me to do the job that I'm supposed to do here for President Trump and Secretary Rubio, is I need to continue these relationships, grow them even better than they were. And I think once we do that, they realize that it's not America first. It's America first, but it's not America alone. So we need to work together because we have strong ties, whether it be maritime, whether it be like our 250th anniversary, and we have a lot going on between Portugal and the United States, and I just want to enhance what we're doing and continue to grow our relationship.
Have you already met with the Portuguese government? What has been the relationship with the Portuguese
I've met with a lot of them, a lot of the ministry. I mean, there's a lot of them, and I've met with Prime Minister Montenegro. What a terrific lunch we had together. I think we really are aligned very, very closely with each other. He wants what I want, which is the best for his people and the best for ours in the United States. So yes, every time I've met with somebody in the ministry, the amazing thing is that my people at the embassy, they say that they get along very well with everybody in Portugal and everybody in their ministry. So if that's the case and we're doing so well together because we actually like each other, let's do more. That's what I want to do.
That's good news. António, AmCham Portugal, 75th anniversary. How has this journey been, and what role does AmCham Portugal have in fostering this relationship between the two countries?
Well, thank you very much, first of all, to be here with Ambassador John Arrigo. It's an honor for AmCham to be with the U.S. Ambassador, and especially in this kind of the discussion and with this podcast concerning the relationship between Portugal and the United States. As you are mentioning, we are 75 years old. This started in 1951 with a group of American business people together with Portuguese business people trying to organize a chamber to attract American investment to Portugal. That was the main goal at that time. So one direction. And later the chamber started to work both ways, also to bring the Portuguese investment to the United States and, of course, improving the trading between the two nations. You know that we have a strong link with the United States. I'm not going to talk about history, but we have a strong Portuguese community in the United States, as you know, and this kind of community is also changing because we are having more and more people with the high qualifications that go to the United States to work there, to launch their business there. And more Americans are coming to Portugal. I'm not even talking about the visitors, tourists. It's booming. We can see it every day, and we see that it's the third source of tourism in Portugal is American visitors. But some of them and more are coming here and staying here and saying maybe it's a good place to invest. I would like to stay here because the international community is growing and the Americans are very welcome, not only because they bring money. Of course, it's important because one of the problems that Portugal has is lack of capital to make the investments that are needed. So foreign investment is crucial for development of the country, and America is number one on that sense. Second, because we are also bringing talented people. Most of the Americans come here are people with higher qualifications and they want to stay here, and this helps to improve the economy of the country and the well-being of the Portuguese population. That's very important for us.
So the outcome has been really positive. But we had last year a decrease in the export of goods to the United States, about 30% decrease. I think that can be attributable to the increase in tariffs. How do you see these tariffs affecting trade between the two countries?
Well, I think that we have ups and downs on the relationship. That's normal between two partners. Even when we do business here with our supply chain and with our clients, we have ups and downs. And of course, when the tariffs were decided at the level of 15% for all European Union, Portugal was affected. But business people are very prudent on that matter. One thing is the opinion that you can have about the decisions that the politicians make in any country or in any jurisdiction. Another one is how to adapt to that new circumstance. And business people know how to adapt. They do different pricing on their products. They segment their markets on a different way. They try to organize different partnerships. And that's what's happening now. I have here some figures that you already mentioned, because the trade balance between the two countries is in this moment quite favorable to Portugal, as you know, especially on the service side, because the service side, it's the tourism that it's booming and it counts for...
There's a big impact on that.
And that's difficult to balance because we don't have enough tourism to bring to the United States to balance this area. But the services that the United States provide to Portugal are mainly IT services to the big technology companies, and that can make a better balance. On the goods, the gap is decreasing. So the gap that it's still favorable to Portugal but it's starting to decrease and to narrow this difference. As you mentioned, the exports of goods from Portugal to the United States, they had a decrease last year of, I have the figures, 12.5%. In terms of goods. In terms of services, it was more or less the same. So probably it's the effect that we feel about this new tariff system. But there is another point that it's worth to analyze, is that on the trade between the two countries, there is a big share on oil and oil derivatives products that go and back and forward between the two countries. So any change on this mix can make a variation that's not very significant in terms of structural differences, but maybe has a difference for the short time.
What you hear from AmCham members is that companies are adjusting.
And we just have a survey. It's the AmCham barometer that we do every 2 years together with PwC, a well-known company, and we can see that the mood that the respondents show, it's very different from 2 years ago. For example, how they see the economic situation internationally. There is an improvement of those that see positive and very positive outcome in the future, increased 5 points. Those that are looking just at the Portuguese economy and saying I'm optimist or very optimist about the Portuguese economy, it improved 32 points compared to 2 years ago. So people are becoming very positive, and
they are adjusting, and they are being
more investment, more expecting more volume of business, and more people hiring more people. And concerning the United States, very interesting. We were asking about impacts of the tariffs in the Portuguese business system, and only 8% said that there was a big impact on their business. Only 8%. 34% said some, and the remain. So the majority said, I have no impact. I adjust, I adapt. So
it depends on the industry.
Yeah.
Also. Yeah. Ambassador Arrigo, how do you see this tariffs affecting trade between the two countries?
Well, I haven't seen the total numbers because I think it's a little bit earlier in the year to actually get the real numbers out there, right? As far as I'm concerned, these business people, all it is it's like in sports. If you don't have the unknown, what are the unknown to the rules? Once these business people get the rules to the game, which is trade, okay, they're smart. They're going to make the adjustments, just like I did in my business and for years. Once you tell me what the rules are, I'm going to make my adjustments and we're going to win. So you got to give these guys their chance. And that's what I think that a lot of the businesses are doing here in Portugal. We're doing it on the other side. I mean, there has been a very, very broad imbalance when it comes to the deficit for many, many years. And the United States has taken it and taken it to the point where President Trump says enough is enough. So once everybody gets to understand it's going to be fair, and once it's fair, let these business entrepreneurs run, because they're going to do just fine. But if it's the unknown, that kind of makes everybody a little bit nervous.
So that means the current tariffs are to remain stable.
Stable.
No more surprises.
You know what? We'd love to have no tariffs on both sides, right? But the fact of the matter, that's probably never going to happen. So again, I believe that once the tariffs we all understand what they are, we're going to adjust in the United States. Portugal, great business people, they're going to adjust, and we're going to go ahead and everyone's going to make their move. The United States sees that there's some things that maybe we just don't do well. Well, we can't do cork. We don't do cork, right? So we have one of the largest producers of cork, António, I know very well, and he's a great guy, and his family are fantastic. They're carving out the terrorists for cork, for generic, and we don't do a very generic pharmaceutical very well. We need that. That's big. That's to lower the cost of pharmaceuticals in the United States. Those tariffs are carved out for the people of Portuguese that do that going towards the United States. So it's all about working relationships, and it's about making the deals. And I believe President Trump knows how to make a deal. He's been doing it his whole life.
We've seen also some geopolitical tensions between Europe and the United States with issues such as Greenland. Do you feel these tensions are affecting business confidence or not?
I don't know about tensions. I think that you have, when it comes, I guess you mentioned Greenland, when it comes to that, I mean, that's just a security situation for the United States, for Denmark, for NATO, for all of the EU. And I think that there is a lot of activity going on in the Arctic right now from maybe some people that really are not in the same values as the United States or other people in the EU. So there's a lot of activity up there right now, and I believe that things need to be looked at. And I trust President Trump, Secretary Rubio, that I think I've said this before, is that there's a lot of countries that are playing checkers. President Trump's playing chess. And I trust what he's doing in Greenland, and it's going to be for the best for a lot of people. And I think security is our number one issue.
Mm-hmm. Even if that may affect business confidence.
Affect what?
Business confidence.
I don't think one has anything to do with the other. I mean, right now we're talking about security, or you want to talk about business? I believe that security is very, very important. Business is very important, but I believe those two are separated.
Mm-hmm. António, how do you see this topic affecting business confidence?
I follow what Ambassador said. As I mentioned, business people, they have opinions about political decisions. Every one of us, as good citizens, we have our opinions about everything. But one thing is our opinions, the other thing is how do we adjust our business models to the new circumstances? And it's important to know what are the rules. As soon as we know that the rules are this or those, because sometimes rules change, it's that's life, and business people are used to see and to adapt to new rules situation. Then the entrepreneurs, the business people, the managers, they take their decisions according to the new rules. And that's what's happening. Once again, I have here the barometer, and they say, what are you doing to adjust to the new circumstances of these tariffs? Let's talk about the tariffs, because maybe it's the one that has more impact on the business community. And for example, 3/4 of the respondents say, I don't need to adapt anything. I just continue to do business as usual. Then we have 26%, so 1/4 more or less, say I have to adjust my policies. And what they are doing, trying to do more partnerships with people on the other side of the ocean, because maybe that's one way to increase my business, or to invest in the United States. If it's not only trading, exporting, because exporting is becoming more difficult and my products are going to become more expensive and less competitive and so on. So I can decrease my margins, but you can decrease. There is a limit on that decrease, because otherwise it's not profitable. And then maybe it's better to invest there, to find a local partner, to open new business there. And then you have the opposite. You don't have tariffs. You have incentives to be there. And that's things that our business community is starting looking at. And some of them, they are already doing that. And we have very good examples of that point. Another thing is trying to differentiate product. Let's say to find something that it's different. That in this example, that the American consumer is willing to pay, let's say, a premium price for something that is different in order to compensate. Yeah, with added value. That's what our members are saying.
Yeah. So let's talk about opportunities. Ambassador Arrigo, where do you see opportunities for U.S. investment in Portugal? What sectors do you feel are more attractive?
Well, I believe that when it comes to the United States coming to Portugal, I mean, the things that you all do well. I mean, everybody wants to be a digital infrastructure. This is an AI hub, right? Start Campus is showing what they could actually do. I mean, that is a huge project. I was down there and visited down there, and it was it's going to be amazing. I think when it's done, when all 6 buildings are done, it's going to have more capabilities than all of the data centers in Spain combined. So that's how big, and I believe that that's exactly what Portugal has to offer. I mean, think about the strategic location of Portugal with the undersea cables coming in through the Azores right into Portugal. There is a lot of opportunity for that data to be used. And then when it comes to data, what do you need? You need energy. You gotta cool these things down, right? So energy is going to be big. I believe that Portugal is going to need as much energy as they can to support these data centers. And that's going to be with LNG. And I think we're a good partner for that. We have a lot of it, and it's for sale. So I think to go ahead and I think we're going to look at that opportunity. But we have some pharmaceuticals. We have different areas that we could always get involved with. Look at Microsoft, 10 billion reasons why they like it, right? And they're just putting euros investment. 10 billion euros. So that's fantastic. So I believe these people see the entrepreneur here in Portugal, and again, I think it's sky's the limit. It's really, really, really exciting.
Portugal, like other NATO allies, is expected to significantly increase its defense spending. Do you see interest from U.S. companies also in investing in this area in Portugal?
Well, I believe that as we know about the defense spending, kudos to Portugal for reaching the 2% of their GDP in defense spending this year. And of course, at The Hague, President Trump wants everyone in the EU to get to the 5% in NATO, and I believe, and that was great that they stepped up. So we're looking forward to helping Portugal with this spend. Number one with that would be the aging F-16 fleet that they have. They know that they have an aging F-16 fleet, and we believe the best partner is the United States again, and the Lockheed Martin F-35 is exactly the way to go. It's a 5th generation stealth fighter. It's the one that you want to put your sons and daughters in to make sure they come home safely. It's the best option out there, and the best thing about that is it could be made. These other competitors, they could say they can make these planes, but right now, Lockheed Martin has the ability to make them and deliver them on time. So I just can't wait. That's exciting part of what I do is to put that deal together. And again, for the safety and security of not only Portugal, but all of our allies.
So you're helping American companies to get contracts on this?
Yes, I want to go both ways. I mean, I want American companies to look at what we have here in Portugal, and of course, Portuguese companies. I think our deficit, it's actually went down 4%. I don't know if it's in the numbers this past year, but the numbers I have is that our trade deficit did go down 4%, which is very positive, and it's just going to get better. I think it's naturally. I want to see if we can make it a little bit more even. I think we were at a $3.8 billion deficit before when I got here. And but I believe, yes, I think that there's a lot of opportunity between both Portuguese and United States companies.
António, and the other way around, what are the main opportunities for Portuguese companies in the US?
Lots of opportunities in the US. And the US is the market for Portuguese companies to expand. And but I would like to touch both ways. Also, the interest of the American investment in Portugal, because they are connected. We are watching more and more some sectors that are becoming very attractive for American investors to come here in Portugal. One of them is, of course, technology, IT, AI. You mentioned a very good example of Start Campus, NVIDIA, Microsoft, all the hyperscalers. They are here in Portugal. They want to improve their business. And that's a good example. But we have also very good sector on defense and security. We have top companies that are specialized on certain lines of defense. And we see more and more American investors on the area of defense, aerospace, and security to come here and to make partnerships or even to have commercial agreements with the Portuguese companies. Just to mention Takeover, that everyone knows, it's also a very good example of a company that's very successful on defense system. And so, as you mentioned, because Portugal has committed to improve its level of defense expenditure in the NATO framework to 2 and next to 5%. This means that this is one of the most important sectors for developing business in Portugal, and our friends from the United States are very interested in that. The third area is biotech. We see also very big interest in American companies coming here. You touched the area of some generic pharma in order to bring down the prices in America that are incredibly different from the same drug in the United States and in Europe. It's very, very different. So biotech, and we have this ecosystem of biotech companies, very good, very well developed. And we have finally two things that we see more and more as factors for attracting American investment. It's the quality of our business schools and the quality of our engineering schools. We have very good talent in this moment in Portugal coming out of universities, and this is one reason why American investors want to invest here. Of course, as a Portuguese, I'm not very happy to say that one of the reasons is because it's less expensive than what you pay in richer countries in the center of Europe, but nevertheless, it's on the side of the investor. It's
a competitive advantage. Yeah,
it's very competitive.
The U.S. Embassy launched the U.S. Portugal CEO Forum. What is the purpose of this initiative and what are its main objectives?
Well, it's what it's going to do is it's what we feel that needs to happen is we need to cut the red tape. We need to make it easier for companies to do business here in Portugal. And when you do that, and going back to the United States, if we could put just a small group, let's say 8 like-minded people in the same sector, and we sit them in a room with the ministry of here in Portugal and in Washington, D.C., and we actually sit there and we can hash out and discuss how is it going to be easier for us to do business? And not only just discuss it, but let's make decisions and let's get it done. In other words, I hate to sit in a room and everybody complain and talk about it, but if we have the right people in the room that can actually make a decision right then and there and say, you know what, you're right, we're going to do this to make it easier.
We're going to solve it.
Then we're going to get some things done because, again, conversation means nothing, right? So I believe once we start doing this and then we change sector, we go from pharma, we go to energy, we go to trade, whatever the situation may be, we can sit down and we can go ahead and hash out the red tape and what does it take and how can we make it easier for both countries to do business together. And I think the CEO Forum is already, we've proven it and we did it. I think they did it in Brazil. And the good thing is that everybody that we spoke to here in Portugal, they're all for it. And then we have of course, the people in DC and in Washington, they want to do it also. And I believe it's really going to help companies just, again, try to find out how can I do this in a timely fashion, not take months and years. In my business, I worked on weeks and days. I wanted to see results in weeks and days. Well, I guess now I'm a politician, which I don't know if I don't want to say I'm a politician, but I guess, we got car dealer, a lawyer, and a politician. So now I'm a politician, right? Okay. So now they want to get things done. I want to get things done quicker. I don't want to see it happen in months and years. I'm only here for 3.5 years. We got to get things done. And I think the CEO Forum is going to do that.
So you expect to see results in a couple of months?
I would love to see results in a couple of months. I'm sure right now there's people throwing darts at the TV. But the fact of the matter is that, yes, I want to see things done a lot quicker.
And the idea is to have the CEOs of American companies in Portugal?
Yeah, American companies in Portugal, Portuguese companies, everybody's sitting in the same room.
Okay.
And discuss what's it going to do. How did let's say that Sword Health, maybe they had things a little bit easier. They found a way of doing things a little bit easier, and then they'll go ahead and they'll bring their best business practices to companies going in the same sector, right?
Investing in the U.S.
Exactly, right? So we can go ahead and they say, this is what we did. You can do this, and then these CEOs walk away from a CEO forum with, all right, we got a plan. Let's go back and implement that plan because it's worked. We can see it. It's a $4 billion company. They know what they're doing, and it worked, right? So I think that that's what the CEO Forum would do.
So there's red tape. Regulation is also an issue?
Yeah, well, I would say so. I mean, it took me 30 days to buy my first car here in Portugal. 30 days. From the day, and the car was on the lot. The paperwork and what it took for me to actually take delivery of my wife's new car when I first moved to Portugal, it took 30 days. That's a problem.
In US,
At my car dealership, when I was doing it, you walk in at 11 o'clock, you're driving at 12 o'clock. And the only reason why it's not 11:45 is because I got to clean the car. The fact of the matter is that I believe that, yes, we could do things a little bit quicker. And no disrespect, but they say the same thing. The Portuguese people want the same thing.
Sure. António, what do you hear from the companies that are in AmCham Portugal? What are their main complaints regarding barriers to investment and trade?
I have to agree totally with what Ambassador said. Because,
You don't have
no, but
pick on me. It's okay. I'm a big boy. You can tell me I'm wrong.
the figures are there. Those are the answers from our community, business community, and they say that their first concern as business people, it's the competitiveness of the market. When they see more competitors coming in, and if you don't have a level playing field, that makes harder you to compete. That's the first concern that they have. But the second, immediately after, is red tape. Is the bureaucracies, the over-regulation, not only the bureaucracy and regulation that we already have in Portugal, and we traditionally had for a long time, but also that regulation that it's imported from EU. We understand that we cannot work on a wild environment. We need regulations. But one thing is to have, let's say, clever or smart regulation. Another thing is to have over-regulation. Everything is over-regulated. It takes lots of effort, of money, of time to overcome those regulatory barriers. So that's the second topic that the business people are complaining about. And the third one is the difficulty of getting the right talent. Because as I mentioned, if Portugal is very attractive for foreign investors, and we are talking about American investors to come here because we have talented people that are coming out of universities with a very good background in business, in engineering, in pharma, whatever it is. But the country, Portugal, has also a problem because there is a big chunk of those graduates that go out of Portugal because they are better paid in the center of Europe, where the salaries are higher, and we have a problem of retaining that talent. And that's one of the factors that the entrepreneurs are complaining, saying, we need political measures to retain people here and to become more attractive for them to stay here. And we believe as American Chamber that the more foreign investment you have, the more you develop the country, the higher is your GDP per capita, the better you can pay to your employees, and so the level of retention, of course, will improve, and you start to solve this problem. But red tape is there. So I have to agree with the ambassador.
It's a key area to improve. Regulation and the European Union are quite a big theme. But looking more broadly, what do you see, or how do you see the role of Portugal in strengthening the relationship between the United States and the European Union? What role can Portugal play in this relationship?
Well, I believe that Portugal, I think they're already playing a big role, naturally. I believe that the good thing about Portugal is that they're not going to jump into anything. They look at what's going on in the EU. They want to make sure that their decisions are going to be the best for their people. And I just want to touch on one thing that we're talking about, the migration of what these young people, these people leaving Portugal and going elsewhere. Housing. These folks cannot live. I mean, I saw what it costs to live in Lisbon. I saw what it costs to live in these, but these rents are extremely high. So when you take a young, talented person and they're trying to start a job or trying to start a career, and then you tell them it's going to cost X amount of dollars, these really high numbers, to live where their job is, that's a problem. So I believe the housing needs to be looked at here in Portugal, and I think that the right people are knowing that that's something that's going to have to happen. But as far as the EU is concerned, again, I'm back to the relationships. I think that we are well aligned with Portugal. I believe that once the EU, everybody's adapts to what the programs and the numbers were in August, I think, when everybody came with the 15 or 10 or whatever. Again, just get the numbers right. Understand that we're all together in this. I think Secretary Rubio put it very well last week in Munich. That the EU that's where we all started. I mean, everything starts right there in Europe, and we need them as partners. And I think Portugal feels the exact same way. And I just think that again, more conversation. Let's go ahead and understand where we're at when it comes to the trade and to the tariffs. And of course, we need to be in defense. We need to be together because it's not 31 in one. It's 32 countries. It can't be just the United States and then 31 others. It's got to be all 32 because we are stronger when we're together.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Arrigo, António da Costa, thanks very much for joining us for this first episode of Transatlantic Talks. It's been a pleasure having you. Thanks very much.
Glad to be here. Thank you, André. Thank you, António. Thank you.